The known universe, with its heroes and marvels. But what of the darkness? In our modern world, this is where monsters dwell, alongside those who hunt and slaughter them with pride. None more prolific than the Bloodstone family, whose patriarch has long controlled the powerful supernatural relic, the Bloodstone. A weapon unlike any other.
Well, there's other rides you've been on, of course, with all the amazing shows and features that have come out since we last spoke. I mean, I interviewed you in 2021, and then last year came Werewolf by Night, and I was like, oh my gosh. I remember I was just scrolling on Instagram after watching Werewolf by Night, and they were like, did you know the Werewolf by Night narrator is Rick Wasserman? I was like, wait, what? I just spoke to him. There's no way. That's crazy. So I remember I tagged you. I was like, oh my God, my friend Rick is the narrator.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool of you.
Yes, I was so happy because that is so perfect for you. Of course, with like your phenomenal promo work and only on AMC, like shit like that. Like, that's so cool to me. I was so happy that you got that role. Talk a little about words today. Talk a little bit about getting the role of the narrator, and how would you say your work as a promo artist has helped you really lock in what they wanted for that voice?
Yeah, I remember the audition. Disney was looking for someone like Vincent Price, but they didn't want Vincent Price. Like, they didn't want an impression, which is good because I can't do it. So my first knee-jerk read, like my first read is always, if I were going to direct it, what would I want it to sound like? Like, that's where I start. And that's what I did. And they must have liked it because they asked me to do it. And what was really interesting about this gig is that it was sort of like the height of the pandemic at the time. And they said, they can, if you want, you don't have to go to Disney to record. You can record this from home. I went, I want to go to Disney. I mean, am I alone here? Doesn't everyone, we want to go to Disney. I want to go to Disney. So like, okay. So I went to Disney and it was so strange. It was like a ghost town. There was nobody there. It was like empty, strange. And then I went onto the sound stage and everyone was masked and there's all kinds of precautions and stuff. And I couldn't be masked, obviously, so they kind of just put me into this soundstage. And it's like the soundstage you see in movies. It's huge, and there's a gigantic screen, and like it's pitch black in there, and there's like one light, and it lights up, you know, your little copy stand, the microphone. You stand in this little pin spot, and all the producers and those people were all on a Skype grid on a monitor right next to me. So I could see all of them wherever they were. And there was one engineer behind glass behind me. So I was essentially by myself. Now, when I did Hulk, it was also very much like that. I was just by myself. So I was sort of used to that whole thing. And doing a lot of promo, I'm also used to just being by myself. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was weird. Knowing that there was a crew of people watching me and hearing me, they just weren't there with me. So on the screen, I would see what I was going to read up against, right? I could see it. So I got to see some of the images before anybody else, you know, like mainstream audience. Well, that was kind of cool too. So I could kind of get the vibe of what they were going for. And they pretty much let me do what I did in my audition. They were pretty all right with it. They might have asked me to slow it down or pick it up. There was a whole bunch of different versions. They weren't really sure on all the language yet, so I did that. They ask if you want to stand or sit, and I always stand. I feel like it's like a singer, or stand-up comedian, or like, or if you're giving a political speech, you're not sitting down, you're standing up, right?
It changes the energy.
It changes the energy, exactly. Thank you. So I'm standing there, and the microphone's in front of me. But before I get to the microphone, before that, there's this thing in front of me. All I can tell you is it looked like one of those workshop horses that you put like boards on to saw. It was like this black bar in front of me. And I thought, what is this for? Like, so I can't get too close to the mic? Like, what is this thing? So I didn't pay much attention to it. And at some point in the session, I went, sorry, listen, can I just ask, what is this bar here? And they said, that was from Adam Driver. I went, Adam Driver? They said, yeah, he did a lot of recording in here, and he asked for that. What is it? And they said, it's just a bar. Well, yeah, I know, but why did Adam Driver want a bar in here? And he said, he used it. He used it. Like, he would grip it when he was intense and hold on to it. And when it was intimate, he'd lean on it and lean forward. And it was a place to put his hands. And I thought, I've never heard of that. I'm going to try this. So I put my hands on it. I thought, oh, I got to have one. This is brilliant. It's just like, because it's sort of like you're on a roller coaster ride with nothing to hold on to. And something about being able to grip something when I wanted to was like game changing. You know, it kind of like anchors you. Or if you have a lot of intensity, you get something to hold on to, you know, and do something with your hands instead of gesturing wildly, which is not a great thing to do. You know, you see a lot of voice actors like moving their hands a lot, but if you move your hands a lot, it shakes your larynx, it shakes your voice, and you can hear it, right? But this kind of grounds you and roots you down. I have to thank Adam Driver for enlightening me, and
new technique, a new
it's probably due to Adam.
That is so cool, though. That's a really cool story, and it just all goes back to, you know, what I was saying about standing or sitting. It just changes the energy and how you channel it, because you're right, like a lot of the times you'll see behind the scenes footage and people be like, oh my god, I'm angry, I gotta throw this, I gotta, and it does change how you sound. It really does. I've been so blessed and lucky to be able to record a few voiceovers since we last spoke.
I know.
And yeah, and with me, I am, depending on the scene, I am very, because you can't help it, you know, you don't, when you're performing vocally, everything comes out of your voice. Like, no one sees that smirk or that grin or that anger, you know, and a lot of times it just happens to come out. So if you'll be able to have something that channels that for you is really cool. So shout out to Kylo Ren for helping you.
Yes, Kylo Ren
for helping you out.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to being cast in go back, but what was your reaction to it finally coming out and seeing everyone's reaction to your performance?
I never think anyone, like, as a voiceover person and having done this for so long, I don't think anybody thinks about me. They're just watching the show. Like, I don't think I'm even an issue. Like, the only one who makes like any noise about it would be you and my dad. You know, like I no one says, no one ever stops me, you know. Or I'll say something, they'll go, my goodness, don't I know that? It just doesn't happen to me very often. But because of the high profile of this, it's Marvel, and because there's such a very strong, hungry fan base, and now we're in a sort of a different time where voice actors have some notoriety. You know, some of them are like rock stars. And by the way, they deserve to be. They do some incredible work. And so, yeah, people started hitting me up like, bro, Werewolf by Night, what? That's you. Like, yeah. Yeah, you noticed? Yes, we noticed. We noticed you.
So it's nice. I mean, I guess I don't need it. Like, I don't need for people to say that. I try not to make that too important, because if you don't hear it, then you can feel really let down by it. But the fact is that when they do say it, I have to admit it does feel nice. Everybody likes to be seen. Like, my mother used to say this all the time. She used to say, there's no sweeter sound than someone saying your name. You know, it's sort of like, you see me, you recognize me, you took the time to say my name, you know? And so I admit that does feel good.